Scotty.
What?
Scotty!
What?
Scott!
Oh my fucking God, what?
Hey, Scotty, you find anything?
Yeah, really cool tape recorder, I'm bringing it up.
Scotty! Scott! Linda, give me a flashlight.
Man, no need for the flashlight. Stop being so impatient. I've got the recorder. Let's push play.
Naturan de Manto, roughly translated, Book of the Dead.
Well, this is cool. Let's keep playing it.
Kanda.
Shut it off.
Kanda.
Shut it off.
Kanda.
All right! I'll play the podcast instead.
I'ma make it burn, 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 I'ma make it burn.
You are now listening to the You Run podcast, the only horror movie review podcast completely run and controlled by you, the listeners. You choose the movies. You score the movies. Heck, you even review the movies. This is not my podcast.
You Run Podcast.
I've had to listen to every other episode.
You Run Podcast.
You fell asleep for a section.
I fell asleep for a minute. Next one.
This is going to be a fucking riot.
That's right. It is a riot. And it's going to be out of control. Out of my control. You run the show. All you need to do is go to our website, yourunpodcast.com.
Just make sure you fucking listen, okay?
You want to die tonight?
I'ma make it burn.
Hello and welcome to the You Run podcast. I know you weren't expecting to hear from me for a while, not till December, but I'm back, and there's a very good reason that I am back. Going back to the summer, one of our followers on Instagram, a listener to the show, Video Tasties, created a video where the video started with a shot of the logo for this show. It then proceeded to do a first-person shot as he went through his house with all the doors opening and slamming out into his garden, where he came to a video of a VHS of The Evil Dead. That absolutely blew my mind that someone went to that much effort to basically say, review the fucking Evil Dead. And I wanted to do it. So what I'd done is I put it in a poll and I let lots of other people pick movies, and it was going to be the bonus episode for season 3. It reached the final, which I was adamant it was, and it was against Scream 3. And I went, this is in the bag. I know that The Evil Dead is going to destroy Scream 3. And as you know, because you've all listened to our bonus episode with all of our wonderful guests who joined us, Scream 3 beat The Evil Dead. I really wanted to do this episode for Video Tasties in spite of Scream 3 winning. I still don't know how that happened. So I started talking to another one of our followers and a guest who's been on the show multiple times, and that was Marc at MW Horror Reviews. And between the two of us, we decided that it was a really good idea. So today I'm going to review The Evil Dead, and I'm going to do it with a co-host. So welcome, Marc, to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me back.
Yeah, well, welcome back. You've kind of been a little bit of a co-conspirator on this. I come up with the idea, and you were like 100% yes, let's do it.
Yeah,
and you're a bit of a sinner because you've only recently watched the Evil Dead trilogy.
that's true. I haven't. I'd obviously seen the remake, and because it's great. And I've seen the original many moons ago, and I'd only just revisited that recently for the page, but I'd never seen Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness. So obviously, in preparation for this episode, I went back and watched all 3 for the first time.
So you now know why Video Tasties was so determined to get this reviewed.
Yes.
But not only that, not only have we got Marc as co-host, we had, so on our Instagram page, we do a quiz. It works out as about once every 3 or 4 months. It's almost like a quarterly quiz, and it's called the Hardest Horror Quiz. And for the last Hardest Horror Quiz, I gave a prize away. And that prize, well, I call it a prize. That prize was to appear on this show.
Hey, Ash, I guessed the card right.
Yeah, truly amazing.
And the person who won that was Skelly, or as you will all know her, Skellington Fan on Instagram. She absolutely trounced everyone and actually took you off the top spot, Marc.
Yes. Yeah, well, I was not happy.
Well, that's going to be good because you two could talk about that in a minute. So Skellington Fan is going to be joining us, or Skelly is going to be joining us. We're going to talk everything about The Evil Dead. I'm pretty sure we're going to dip into the other movies in the franchise, so Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, and probably even discuss a little bit about Evil Dead Rise. Also on this episode, it's the first ever Save Me. This quiz is completely different to anything before. And as Skelly won the hardest horror quiz, she's going first. And I think she's going to do really well. What do you think, Marc?
I already know how this quiz plays out, so I'm a little bit anxious about it, to be honest with you, because it's brutal. It is brutal.
Yeah, so you've actually been kind of part of the creation process on this quiz, and when I initially told you about it, you were like, "Fuck, man, that's ruthless."
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not going first.
but you are going. So I said it on I think I said it on the season finale. You're back this season as well, in this coming season. So you are going to take it on. But today you're actually going to be assistants to Skelly. But I'll tell you all about that when we get to it. I think it's the best time now is to introduce the Evil Dead trailer and then bring Skelly onto the show. So here is the trailer for the 1981 Evil Dead.
No, it was the woods themselves. They're alive, Ashley.
I fear that the only way to stop those possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
I don't care what happens to her. She's your girlfriend. You take care of her.
Right, Skelly, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. I was amazed at how well you done in the quiz, and I'm thrilled that you actually agreed to come on. When I decided to give the prize, I'm using quotes, the prize of coming on the show, I didn't know if anyone would. I didn't know if the winner would actually want to, and I'm so thrilled you did. And because I think your account's great and your views on horror are very similar to my own, which
it's kind of funny because when I did the quiz, I didn't realize it was a quiz. I thought you were just asking random questions about horror, and I'm like, oh, I know the answer to this, and this, and about halfway through, I went, oh, I'm doing a quiz. Okay, cool. And I kept going and going, and like, oh, I know this, oh, I know that, and yeah, I had no idea that you were doing a quiz for a competition at all.
See, that makes it even better. So not only did you beat Marc, but you beat Marc not even knowing it was a quiz, not even trying.
I know that. It's not like rubbing it in, is he?
Oh, I'm not rubbing it in, I swear.
I bet that makes you feel really good about your horror knowledge now, Mark.
Nah, I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't really trying that day anyway, so.
But a little bit about your page. So you're called Skellington Fan, and it's as soon as you look at your page, it's blatantly obvious why. You are a huge fan of A Nightmare Before Christmas.
110% have been since the very first day I saw it on VHS.
What is it that about that really draws you in?
I think it was so different to what I'd seen Disney-wise. It's always been princesses and all this other stuff, and this just really got my attention for something unique and different. And I've always been into fantasy and things like that, and otherworldly supernatural things. So that one was the perfect movie for me.
Yeah, and it's a movie that in our house gets played a lot at Halloween, and then also gets played a lot at Christmas. And I don't think there's many movies you can do that with. It does sit in a really unique space. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about The Evil Dead. So The Evil Dead came out in 1981, directed by Sam Raimi, his directorial debut, starred Bruce Campbell, and tells the story of 5 friends who go to, they've rented a cabin, and they say they've rented it, but if I had rented that cabin, I would be so pissed off.
Absolutely.
It is the worst cabin ever. You've got no running water, you've got no heating, you've got no... Did they have electric?
Yes, I think they had electric.
They had electric, but no water and no heating. So they go to the cabin where they inadvertently release demons.
Awaken us from our ancient slumber. You will die!
And they are then initially they're all tormented by demons, and that leads then to Ash alone being tormented by demons. For me, the Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, is incredible. I love this movie, and there's things about it I really, really, really love. The thing that really gets me with this is the quality of the cinematography. For a new director who'd never done anything before, the shots that he creates put directors at the same time to shame. He'd done such a good job at making it visually wow. It just blew me away visually. Acting wise, I'm going to upset lots of Evil Dead fans. I don't think it's the best, but it's not terrible. I really, 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 really like it. What are your thoughts on it, Mark?
Well, I always used to put the remake at the top. For me, the remake was better than anything. And after going back and rewatching them, I found a new sort of love for this film and an appreciation that I never had for it before. I think it's remarkable, really is, for what it did for the time as well.
Yeah, and at the time, so when this was released, it was released as an unrated movie because they couldn't get an R rating on it because it was too brutal. It was then banned in multiple countries. And believe it or not, IMDb still has it listed as banned today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So IMDb are either really, really slacking, or it is still banned in some countries. I don't know whether it is or not. Skelly, what's your thoughts on the Evil Dead? What is it? Because I know you like it as well, but what is it about the Evil Dead that you like?
Both of what you'd said, I agree with both of you on it. Like it's for something with such a limited budget and the conditions and everything involved in it, it is such a well put together film. And like even with the graphics, like the FX, it's still effective. You know, like especially the pencil scene gets anybody.
That's my favorite part as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think this is a good time to slip into, it's not something I normally say on the show, but if you've not seen this, I want you to go and see it. So from now on, this episode is going to be very, very spoiler heavy. If you've not seen it and you don't want to know what happens, stop listening now, go and watch it, and then come back and listen to the rest of this episode. So the movie progresses really quick. It is one of the fastest paced movies ever. There's not a second where you go, oh, come on, get moving. So they arrive at the cabin. within minutes, they found the tape recorder, which has got the words of the Book of the Dead. So they find the book as well. And I don't know if it's just me, but if I went to effectively an abandoned cabin, I've rented an abandoned cabin that I'd already whinged at, I'd have already rung and complained how shit my cabin was. But if I went in the basement and found, what would we call it? It's almost like a mini shrine. It's not very nice. I don't think I'd have brought the tape upstairs and started playing it. Would you have played it?
I don't know. I may, because I'm quite curious with things like that. So I may have been the person to be, okay, let's check this out and freak everyone else out. So.
But Mark, I know you well enough. I think you're a hit and play on that.
Straight away, as soon as I found it, I would be like, "Ooh, interesting."
You wouldn't have even taken it upstairs. You'd just hit play straight.
There and then, straight away. Like when you see a big red button that says "Do not press," immediately I am pressing that button.
You're that guy.
I am that guy. Yeah.
I'm that girl.
Yeah, see, I'm the person who goes, "Oh, I won't push that," and maybe a couple of hours later, I might get someone else to push it, but I'm definitely not pushing it myself. But they play the tape, and this releases a demon, and you get the scene I love is when when the cellar door like flips open, the cellar door flips up. I love that scene because they just kind of they completely dismiss it as anything. It's like, no, it's fine.
Totally normal.
It's probably just some animal.
An animal? An animal? That is the stupidest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah. And it's not. And crazily enough, do you know that cabin didn't have a cellar?
I didn't know that, no.
So what they've done is they found the cabin that they wanted to use out in wherever it was. They wanted it to have a cellar and it didn't. So they cut a hole in the floorboards and put brackets on to make the cellar door. Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi, it was both of them, then dug a hole deep enough to put a ladder in and make a person disappear.
Wow.
And then all of the scenes in the basement were shot in a mixture of people's garages, and I think it was Bruce Campbell's dad's shed.
That's epic.
I love the budget friendliness of this movie. They didn't have any money. And when you get into the demons coming and the effects on the demons, because it's all practical effects, it still works. What would you say is kind of the best effects in this?
Well, I have a massive appreciation for crap effects anyway. Like, if you can give me any horror film, if you're going to do it with a computer CGI graphics, or you're going to do it with some sellotape and a bit of fake red blood, then I'm going for the sellotape road all day long. So this, for me, was perfect. I loved it. I loved the whole plasticine creations at the end. I think the stop motion animation was probably the best for me. And I know it looks awful by today's standards now, but I'm well into that kind of thing. So it was really, really nice to see that. Great.
Well, everyone who listens to the show knows my thought on stop motion animation. I hate it. I've got such a problem with it. But for this movie, it works so well because they put so much effort into it. They didn't half-ass it. They really, really, really went all out. So you've got the blood that looks like milk, and then you've got the normal blood, and then you've got these scenes where like they decompose, and it was done with so much detail and so much care. I can't help but appreciate it and enjoy it. I really, really, really did enjoy it in this, and I don't do that. But for this movie, I loved it. Skelly, what would you say is sort of storyline and sort of actor quality wise? Do you think the acting still holds up, or has it reached a point now where it's become a bit?
I'll just say with Bruce throughout the whole thing, like you would never guess that he'd never really acted by that time. Like he was just so spot on with everything he did, and I did notice like the women kind of drove me a little crazy with their overacting, in my opinion. Like Cheryl with, turn it off, and oh my god, like I felt like throwing something at the TV. But yeah, no, like for its time it was really good. For now, you would look at it and be like, shut them up, please. Those girls just keep going.
There is a lot of screaming in this movie. I know in Evil Dead 2 they take that screaming to a whole nother level, and it's pretty much screaming from the opening scene through to the very end. But in this, I think is it Cheryl when she sat on the floor and she's kind of laughing and screaming and rocking backwards and forwards. That
that's the girlfriend.
Yeah,
I've got a name.
I've forgotten her name as well. Welcome to the podcast where we know all the facts. But that screaming scene really grated on me after a while. I was like, stop screaming. Stop it. Stop it now. The thing I really love in this, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's no other movie that does this. In this, when the demons are possessing the people in the cabin, and you've got Ash and Scotty are beating the shit out of the demons aren't screaming in pain. They're not trying to fight back. They're just laying there, laughing their arse off. And that is so much scarier than if they were trying to fight back. The fact that they're so not bothered, they just think it's funny. That is brilliant.
I 100% agree with that.
You can't get anything scarier than you're trying to stop something or kill something, and it just laughs at you. It's like the old adage: if you were ever to get in a fight and you punch someone and they laughed at you, that's so much worse than if they punched you back. But moving on from there, we get further in, and we start getting where they do start to fight back, and Ash goes and gets what becomes his signature weapon, which is his chainsaw. The chainsaw in this was 100% real all of the time, with a chain on it all of the time. So the scene where he is holding the chainsaw to, is it his girlfriend's chest?
Yes.
Linda, I believe.
Yeah, Linda. Yeah. That scene has the chain in the chainsaw.
Oh my
God. You would
God.
not be allowed to do that these days.
No, you 100% wouldn't. And not only that, when they're messing around with the shotgun?
Yes.
The shotgun was real bullets, not
wow.
That they couldn't afford blanks. Sam Raimi didn't like the way the chainsaw looked without the chain on it. So they all agreed amongst themselves, amongst this sort of ragtag group of friends who decided to make a movie, that all of that was going to be real.
We're going to bury her.
She's a friend of ours.
She's dead. Shelley's dead.
So dangerous, isn't it? Especially in today's world with everything that's going on recently, you kind of look at it in a different perspective, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, now there's been multiple instances. Obviously, most recently with Rust, with the director of photography who tragically got shot with a blank. And then when you go back to The Crow as well with Brandon Lee.
Oh, God, that was horrible.
It was. And Brandon Lee was a rising star at the time. The Crow, I think, had he not died and they had made another Crow movie with Brandon Lee, I think we would probably now be talking about that franchise in the same breath as Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that franchise would have gone a lot better than it did.
Oh, yeah, I
agree with you,
Mark. But yeah, in 1981, apparently that was cool. We're going to use a real shotgun. We're really going to shoot holes in the walls, and we're really going to use a chainsaw. And props to the actress who played Linda for agreeing to that. Because
put a lot of trust in old Bruce Campbell there, didn't she?
I think you would have to. I don't even think I would trust Lisa to hold a chainsaw that close to me. But yeah, I mean, the things that they've done in this movie are insane. There's no question about it. From the visual effects through to the acting, through to the fact they used real weapons. There's no other movie like this. And there never will be another movie like this again. But they are trying. So they tried with Evil Dead 2013. They tried to reboot the franchise. I love the Evil Dead 2013. I think it is possibly the best remake, or it definitely in the contender for the best horror remake ever. Oh, yes. Skelly pulled a funny face. Do you not like the remake?
Oh, don't hate me. Don't anybody hate me. I didn't.
Did you not?
No.
I did not. No.
What was it that
it's
you didn't like?
amazing.
Like, I don't know. I think because the too much reference on, like, okay, I'm trying to remember the main character's name. I forgot. I'm sorry. When I don't like
No,
something, I
that's
usually
okay.
forget who they are. Like, too much focus on the rehabilitation thing that made it too much of the story for me. I didn't feel it was very supernatural. I felt it was more pointing to a drug demon more than it was a demon, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. So you saw the double meaning in it as opposed to the original where it's just insane.
Absolutely, yes. That's how I saw it.
There is one scene I do want to touch on in the original, and I know it's become a very controversial scene, and there's lots of people who've asked to have it removed. And I know Sam Raimi says that if he was to make this film today, the scene would not have been in there, but he doesn't regret doing it, and that is what do we call it? Do we call it the tree rape scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly unpleasant to watch. But
it's just long as well. It goes on for a very long time.
Yeah.
I watched it with Lisa, and Lisa said that scene's about 2 minutes too long. So all you need the vine going up the leg, and that was enough. You didn't need this massive branch coming in and
thumping.
You could have just had the suggestion, and it would have still had the same impact. You didn't need to go as vulgar with it as they do. I mean, it's not very graphic. It's not. I mean, the suggestion's there, and it's not necessarily in your face what it is, but it's enough. It's enough to make you feel uncomfortable watching it.
Yeah,
especially with the duration of it as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit like. I'd like to get your opinion on this, Skelly, because there's lots of people who really, really hate this scene and they want it removed. And you being a woman, and rape must be the most terrifying, horrible thing, and I can't imagine even getting in my head how someone would cope with that. But as a woman watching that scene, how do you find it? Do you find it even more uncomfortable, or are you kind of like, it's part of a horror movie, it kind of works in how they've done it?
I found it very unnecessary. Like, I like what Mark was saying about how like just the bind up the leg, the power of suggestion is more powerful than what witnessing it per se. So yeah, it was definitely dragged out too long. We kind of got the gist of what was going to happen anyway, but it kind of didn't really add to Cheryl's story either, to what was going to happen to her. It was kind of inevitable she was heading that way. But yeah, no, like scenes like that, sometimes I go with the story, sometimes I don't. Depends on what it is. Like a spit on your grave, for example, like it goes with the story. But in this particular instance, no. I think the power of suggestion would have worked so much more than what was actually shown.
Yeah. I mean, I've touched on it multiple times in multiple films that I've watched and reviewed and stuff. I'm not a big rape revenge plot film watcher. I can't stand it. I don't do it. I don't go down that road, and I always find it very uncomfortable when it's in horror films. This one wasn't as bad as what we've seen in anything else, but it was still enough to make you feel uncomfortable while it was going on.
Yeah, and as horrible as it is, I do think it stands testament to how determined Raimi and Campbell were to make something that shocked.
Yeah.
That they set out to make a movie that when everyone went to watch it, they went, oh my fucking God. And I think, especially at the time this was released, it was so shocking. And the fact it was so shocking and the hype that built behind it, I think it's that actually propelled this to being as big as it became. It was that we'd not seen anything like this before. We genuinely hadn't. This was the most insane, scary, horrific movie. And we know they go away from that, so they go into Evil Dead 2, which isn't as horrific, and they lean more into the comedy. And then they go Army of Darkness, and they go full balls deep into, let's make this as funny and as silly and as entertaining as we can. And I like all of them. I like all of them in their own individual way. For me, Army of Darkness is the best because I watched it at a time in my life when I was very impressionable. I found it funny. It's a bit childish now, but I still find it really, really funny. And yeah, you can't take anything away from this franchise. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to slip into our first ever edition of Save Me. So are you ready, Ellie, to take on the first ever Save Me quiz.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Hello. Do you want to play a game?
Here's Johnny.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Groovy.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
It's all for you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
The census taker once tried to test me.
Get out! Get out!
Oh shit. What? He's gone.
Right, welcome to the very, very first Save Me quiz. This is going to become a permanent feature on season 4. I'm also toying with taking this through season 5 because I don't think anyone can get a perfect score. So obviously at the season finale of the last season, Horror Friendly Podcast scored maximum points on Purge or Play. I don't think for at least a couple of seasons anyone is getting maximum points on this quiz. But Skelly, you may prove me wrong.
I may not. Who knows?
So the rules to the quiz, it's very, very simple. There are 15 multiple choice questions. They start very easy and they get progressively harder as we go along. For everyone you get right, you get 10 points. When you get to question 5, if you get that right, you've then banked 50 points. If you were then to take on question 6 and get it wrong, if you got question 6 right and then got question 7 wrong, you would only get 50 points.
Okay.
You can stop the quiz at any time and say, I'm happy with my points, I'm going to walk away. You also get 3 save me's. So the save me's are there to assist you. They change each week as well. So every guest is going to get different save me's. So your save me's are Dumb It Down, where I will replace the question with an easier question. You've got Double My Chances, and I will take away 2 of the multiple choice answers. And then for this episode, you've got Ask the Co-host, where Marc will jump in and try to save you.
Okay.
If you can use that one early on, that'd be much appreciated.
So here we go. Question number 1. And if you get this wrong, you're not allowed to like A Nightmare Before Christmas anymore. In A Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack is known as what? The Pumpkin Prince, the Pumpkin King, the Pumpkin Queen, or Jack of all trades?
The Pumpkin King.
He is. Question number 2. Which horror villain famously wears a hockey mask? Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, or Michael Myers?
Jason Voorhees.
It is. That's 2 out of 2. So you're on 20 points. Question number 3. How many times must you say Beetlejuice to summon him? Once, 3 times, 5 times, or 7 times?
3 times.
It is. That's 3 out of 3. Question number 4. In The Evil Dead, Ash famously uses a weapon. What is it? Is it A, a lawnmower, B, a hedge trimmer, C, a drill, or D, a chainsaw?
A chainsaw.
It is a chainsaw. I would love to see his weapon be a lawnmower, though.
That'd be hilarious.
Question number 5. So if you get this right, you've definitely got 50 points. You're not going to leave with no points at all. Including Halloween Kills, how many movies are there in the Halloween franchise? So your choices are 12, 13, 14, or 15. And you've also got your 3 save me's if you want to use one of those.
I'm going to use a save me.
Okay, which one do you want to use? Do you want to dumb it down, double your chances, or ask Marc?
I'm going to ask Marc.
I am so glad you asked me all this question because I genuinely know the answer to this one. You've got Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've then got H2O, Resurrection, Rob Zombie 1, Rob Zombie 2, Halloween 2018, and Halloween Kills. You've got Ends coming out next year, but I don't think you're including that because it's not been released yet.
No, not including Ends, just up to Kills. So how many do you think, Marc?
I've got 12.
Okay, are you going to go with that, Skelly, or are you going to take your own answer?
I will go with Marc on this one.
You go with Marc? Have you done the right thing? That's 5 out of 5. It's 50 points.
Yes!
You've got 50 points now, whatever happens. So question number 6, they start to get a little bit harder now. What horror movie does the main character write a book that only contains the line, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy? Is it The Ninth Gate, The Shining, The Devil's Reign, or Writer's Block?
That will be The Shining.
It is The Shining. So question number 7. Who directed the 1982 movie Poltergeist? Was it Steven Spielberg, Sam Raimi, Tobe Hooper, or Jerry Goldsmith?
Oh, I actually don't know this one.
You've still got 2 save me, so you've got double my chances where I take away 2 of the wrong answers, and you've got dumb it down where I give you a completely new question that's a lot easier.
I might do the double down, I think.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that then. So that question is gone, and I'm not going to tell you the answer because that question will probably appear in a future quiz. So
All right.
the easier question is, Michael Myers favors a weapon to kill people. What weapon does he favor? A gun, a grenade, a knife, or a baseball bat?
A knife.
He does favor a knife, so that's 7. So you've got 70 points now. Don't forget, if you get one wrong, you will drop back down to 50 points. So question number 8. Which of these horror movies was filmed in only 7 days? A Nightmare on Elm Street, Paranormal Activity, Halloween, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Don't forget, you've got 1 save me left where you can halve the amount of answers, or you can not answer the question, or you can take a guess. So what do you want to do on this one?
I would like to do a save me, please.
Okay, so I'll reduce the amount of answers down to 2, so you've got a 50-50 chance. Which of these horror movies was filmed in only 7 days? Paranormal Activity or Halloween?
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, you going with that?
Yeah.
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 That's correct.
Ah, thank God.
You're doing really well here. So you're on question 9. So this just stands testament to how much horror knowledge you have and why you ended up on the show. So you could potentially ruin the quiz for the whole season and go through and get a perfect score.
Oh, I doubt that. I've got no saves me now. It's all onto my brain to work.
It's all onto your brain work now. So question number 9. In Psycho, what is Norman's hobby? Taxidermy, photography, stamp collecting, or model shipbuilding?
Taxidermy.
It is taxidermy. 9 out of 9. So if you get this question right, so this is question 10, you're then safe at 10. So you will always have 100 points. So,
okay.
Whose skin does Kirsty wear in Hellraiser 2? Is it Frank's, Larry's, Tiffany's, or Julia's? And remember, you don't have to answer it. You can walk away with 90 points.
Oh my God. Oh. My daughter's going to hate me because she loves the Hellraiser series. I don't remember. So I'm going to have to play it safe and take the points I have.
You can take the points you've got. So you scored 90 points. That is an incredible first outing. I think that's a good target for people to aim for.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, you've done really well. Congratulations. Skellington fan, 90 points, top of the leaderboard.
Thank you.
And
gone.
I never got to play. So I told you earlier I'd queued up a piece of audio. There's a piece of audio ready if you got a question wrong, and you're going to have to wait now till someone gets it wrong on the show for you to do that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So when Mark's gambling gets the best of him and he doesn't know and he takes a punt, you might hear the.
Well, it depends on how far on in the season I am, because if I'm later on in the season and everybody's already set the benchmark, then I have no choice but to go for it.
Yeah,
I couldn't walk away with second place if I'm on and somebody's ahead of me and I've got no lifeline left. I'm gambling all the way to the end.
That's the quiz done. So we're now going to move on to some movie facts. 3-word reviews for this episode are kind of happening, but kind of not. Because no one knows about this episode, so the only people who know about this episode are us 3 and Lisa. So there's literally 4 people who knew this was being made. So 3-word reviews is not something that that I could do, because I couldn't ask people because it would tell them that I'm doing it. So I'm going to kick it off straight away with my 3-word review. And I'm going to say absolutely bloody mental. That's my 3-word review of Evil Dead. Skelly, what would you say?
A bloody classic.
Yeah, I like that. Mark?
Yep.
I would say The Campbell Show.
I like that.
It definitely, I would say probably 2 is more The Campbell Show than this one, but yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, everything in part 2 is up to 11, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So let's get into some facts. So originally, Raimi wanted this to be called Book of the Dead. The producer refused to let him do it and made him change it to The Evil Dead. And the reason is insane. So he got him to change it because he didn't believe kids would want to watch this movie if it had anything to do with literature.
I thought he was going to tell me some sort of religious aspect behind it.
No, it was the producer didn't think kids would want to watch this. Kids should not be watching this. But in 1981, this was kind of acceptable for people to watch.
Okay. Well, I suppose kids were tougher back then.
My other fact, so they financed this pretty much through getting financial backing, going visiting people and begging and borrowing and stealing money. They ran out of money pretty much near the end, and they didn't have enough money to finish it. So Bruce Campbell actually put his parents' house up as collateral to complete the end of the movie.
I'll go to hell. I'm not honking at you.
Wow.
Which, that kind of commitment. So Raimi and Campbell pretty much threw everything they had into this financially. And if it had gone wrong, it would have ruined both of them. But when they ran out of money, Bruce went and saw his parents, and they also then put everything they had into this as well. So had it flopped, it would have caused chaos for everyone.
Yeah, that would have been a quiet Christmas, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And my final fact for this is, did you know Bruce Campbell is missing 3 of his front teeth in real life?
No.
So while filming this, when filming the scene where he's fighting off the demon, he's fighting off his girlfriend, the cameraman slipped on some of the stage blood and stuff on the floor, and smashed Bruce Campbell in the mouth with the camera, knocking out 3 of his teeth.
Ouch.
Which they then he got them fixed with the money that he made with the profits that come out of the and that's my facts. So have you got any facts for us, Mark?
Yeah, I've got a couple. So in the opening sequence where the Deadite point of view perspective is coming up and over the pond, that was actually filmed with Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi in a dinghy floating across the pond in order to get that shot.
That's cool.
When there wasn't any filming taking place, Bruce Campbell was actually there to help out on set, like stagehand. So he would move the cameras, he would move the props, build sets, and just help out the crew in general.
Yeah, I think you get that vibe from this movie. I think it very much was it was a group of friends making a movie. And I think very much that when things weren't happening, it was a case of they all jumped in, they all done what they needed to do to make it happen.
Yeah, and you could see everybody had put a lot into it in order to make it a success, and everybody wanted it to do well. So there was no specific roles for everybody. There was no hierarchy. There was no Bruce Campbell going and sitting in his trailer during breaks in between filming. He was mucking in and helping out with everybody else. Yeah,
I'm not being funny. Can you see Tom Cruise pushing the director across a pond in a dinghy? And then building a set to help out? It just wouldn't happen. What facts have you got for us, Skelly?
Okay, I got a couple. So originally, the original script had called for all of the characters to be smoking marijuana when they were listening to the tape for the very first time. But as expected, they had to reshoot it because they all got a little bit tiddly, a bit uncontrollable, as you would imagine.
Did they actually smoke marijuana for that scene then? The script called for it, so they actually done it?
Yeah, they actually had done it, and unfortunately, as anybody who has, you get a little funny with it, and you can't exactly play serious in a movie if you're a little bit high.
As a Greek friend of mine once said, party down! Yeah!
That's awesome. I would love to
Sounds like
see.
one of the most unprofessional sets going.
I would love to see the footage of when they actually got high and filmed that scene. That must be.
Oh, absolutely. That would have been hilarious. I'd pay to see that.
Yeah.
And my second fact is at the end of the day, obviously, so Bruce is done with shooting. He's all a little bit messy. He would get a ride home in the back of a pickup truck because he was covered from head to toe in fake blood.
Wow.
So, obviously you don't want to mess up the car.
No, I know one of the other things they suffered on this was the weather. So I've seen an interview with Bruce Campbell where he was saying that he would take off his blood-soaked clothes and he'd hang them up. And then when he'd go to put them back on in the morning, he could actually snap them and fold them into a perfect square because it was so cold overnight. And because they genuinely had no heating or anything like that, he would try and dry it by the fire. But for a lot of his scenes, he was filming in a freezing cold, wet clothes.
Oh my goodness, poor thing. That's dedication to the craft.
This is true. On to fuck ups. Now, I've said it every time I do fuck ups, and I'm going to say it once more because I'm not saying it throughout season 4. Do not message me saying I'm bitching at the movie. The fuck ups I give you are visual fuck ups for you to, if you've seen this movie 100 times, it's something that you probably didn't know and something that you can spot and you can go, oh yeah, look, it's not me digging at the movie. It's a bit of fun. So my first fuck up for this is the design for the box for the necklace that Ash gives to his girlfriend. The design of the box changes 3 times in that scene. It's 3 different boxes.
I didn't notice that.
Neither did I.
And the other one, that this goes now to the tree rape scene. So when Cheryl is being attacked by the tree and the vines are attacking her, pay close attention to her feet because she goes from wearing moccasins to barefoot to wearing moccasins to barefoot to one moccasin to barefoot back to moccasins. And that's all because when they filmed it, obviously it's all done in stop motion. So she laid there for a very long time while they done it. And in between scenes, she was getting up and moving around and then laying back down and taking her shoes off and putting them back on. And it was spotted in editing. And Raimi kind of went, we don't have the money or the time to sort it. No one will spot it. It'll be fine. just release it.
I never noticed that either.
Well, I think that scene's so horrific that you're never going to spot that because you're too busy going, oh my God, she's being raped by a tree.
Yeah.
Feet is the last thing you look at.
Yeah.
There's a lot of distracting elements going on, isn't there, really?
Which this brings us on to final thoughts on the movie. My final thought on The Evil Dead is it's a classic. It built an entire genre of cabin movies were built on the back of the success of this movie. And I get to do something I've not done for a very long time now. I get to score this movie. I'm going to score The Evil Dead a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect for me. And that's because The Evil Dead 2, in my opinion, is better. And for me, Army of Darkness is better as well. But it is a fantastic movie and you can't take anything away from it. It's spectacular. And it's a straight 9 out of 10 for me. Mark, what about your final thoughts and your score for the movie?
Well, for me, I don't do possession films very well. I'm not really a big fan of the whole demonology and stuff like that, so I tend to usually avoid that genre. This is a fantastic film, one that I love and I've garnered so much appreciation for over the years. I remember seeing it when I was younger and not really caring too much about it, hence probably why I never saw any of the sequels. Obviously, revisiting it lately, it is now going to be an annual watch for me. I love it. I think it's great. I appreciate so much about what's gone into making it. The effects are fantastic. The low budget aspect of it is right up my street, and I think it's a very, very good film. For the score wise, I think I give it a 4.5 when I reviewed it, so that would put me at a 9 with you.
A 9, so you're the same as me. How about you, Skelly? I'll give you the final say on it.
I think it's definitely a must watch for anyone who's into like classic kind of movie, like if you like Hellraiser, Kruger's, all that kind of thing, it's definitely in that genre of just awesome classic films that, you know, even to this day still stand the test of time, which is very hard to do. And yeah, visually it's wonderful. It's whatever you want it to be, really. If you enjoy it, you do. If you don't, that's totally cool. People aren't going to hate you for it. It's just a good movie just to watch in general.
Yeah. And
That's
if you
say for that, I'd have to say 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Well, we unanimous.
Unanimous.
It's a unanimous 9 out of 10. And I now wait for when this episode goes out, the barrage of messages I get saying it's a 10 out of 10, you're all wrong. Well, which I will get. But hey, we're not wrong. We're right. It's a 9 out of 10. Evil Dead 2 is better, and you can't score this a 10 and then have a better film that you score a 10. That's not how it works. So it's got to be a 9 for me. That was this episode. I'm going to tell you where you can find everyone. So Marc, you can find on Instagram. He's at MW Horror Reviews. You'll quite often find me tagging him in stuff and vice versa, because I like harassing Marc on Instagram. And Skelly, you can find her. She's Skellington Fan on Instagram. You all know where to find me. yourunpodcast.com. Wherever you listen to your podcasts, or on Instagram at yourunpodcast. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We're coming to YouTube in the new year as well. So I'll tell you more about that when the new season starts. New season is back on the 7th of December. Guests every week. You will get to hear if anyone can catch Skelly on Save Me.
I'm sure they will.
I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to get to around about where you were, be determined to beat you and fuck up and end up with 50 points. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to end up on 50s because they're going to gamble. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Marc, for coming on. Thank you to you, Skelly. I'm thrilled that you both come on. I'm delighted that I got to put this episode out. And Video Tasties, I hope you enjoyed The Evil Dead. And I'm so sorry it's taken so long. You were going to be the bonus episode, but for some reason, Screen 3 won. You got an extra bonus episode from me because you deserved it. What you done was incredible. So, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you for having me once again. Pleasure as always.
And we'll catch you all in the new season. So see you all soon.
Scotty, now come on, listen to me, for God's sake! Is there a way around the bridge? There's a way, but the trees, Ash. Hey, no.
Put your hands up.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget, leave us a review wherever you can and recommend us to a friend. This is the You Run podcast because you run and control the show. To get involved, head over to our website, yourunpodcast.com, where you can record us a voicemail. That voicemail I will play on the air. Use that to say whatever you want. Are we good? Are we bad? Do you want a movie review? It's up to you. This is your show. Not only that, you can get involved on all of our social medias. We're at You Run Podcast pretty much everywhere. Join in the 3-word review. Give us a fact. Ask us a question anytime, whatever it is. This is your show. This is the You Run Podcast.
You want to die tonight?